Hey guys, today we're going to be speaking about the new terminal probably that is going to be dropping. I'll present to you my hypothesis, what I believe the next gold will be inside it, and how I see the future for the CS2 skins inside the cases and the case uh, idea as a whole and the terminal idea as a whole. So first of all, let's go over this graph here that shows by timeline for each year from CSGO early days when the CSGO first cases were introduced up until the recent terminals. First thing that piqued my attention. So you can see a lot of the cases that were released in the past. We used to get like 6 cases per year. This was okay and normal. We also got like a lot of collections during this time. For instance, like the Close Talk collection, which has the Dragon War and the M4A1S Knight, which are practically legendary at this point. But yeah, you can also start to notice that around 2017, a lot of the cases started to be fewer as a release from Valve. And you can see that from 2017 onward, we only got like 3 cases per year. My speculation here is that this was probably because Valve were working on Half-Life Alyx, the VR game, and also they were probably working on the CS2 and the Source 2 engine, which was released in 2023. So this would line up like 6 years of development, which is considered average. I mean, for large game studios even. So yeah, probably this is why the cases here were less and more sporadic in the release cycle than before. We also got some operations here, but I mean, that's not the most important stuff here at this point. The other thing that piqued my interest is that we only got 1 case in 2023 because CS2 was released then. So we got 1 case before the CS2 release and before CS2 was announced. It was back in February with the Recall case. So if you go back here and go into, sorry, not the Recall case, the Revolution case. And you can see that it was released February 10, 2023, and I believe in March 22nd was announced the CS2 on the YouTube and every platform. But it was released in September of 2023. So yeah, there was some time before going from the official beta to the full release. So if you go back to this graph here, we've established all of this up until now. The next thing is the cases from the CS2 era, and there are only 3 cases. We have just the kilowatt case, the gallery case, and the fever case. And only the kilowatt case was able to be dropped from the active drop pool when you play, like when you get your XP drop from the leveling up. So the other 2 cases were present in the armory only, so only here. If you go right here into the armory, fever case, that's how now you can get the case. We all believe that this is kind of like an intermediate solution to the problem that Valve are facing with the lawsuits issues that a lot of now states and different countries are trying to push against gambling. So essentially what this means is that you have to consent into buying the pass and you have to grind the stars before you're able to retrieve the case that you can then pay the key for and open. So it's kind of like gambling but with extra steps. So they kind of made it like in terms of legal standpoint, this is like a backdoor at the moment that they're using, but I believe this is going to be soon enforced a lot more, not just from the European Union, but from other countries as well. I mean, just this year, Germany have introduced Valve have introduced the X-ray for Germany. So a lot more countries are probably going to start introducing this, and in the future, I believe that more and more countries will have this, and even all the people that invest into the rare cases that are now practically discontinued at this point, they'll still be able to be open, but most probably, in the worst case scenario, they'll have to be open only with the X-ray gun. So yeah, not ideal, but I mean, still better than removing all the cases from every person's profile and every storage unit. So that's the second thing that piqued my interest. Here, about these cases that were released during the CS2 era, we got a new knife, the cookery knife. So if you go here, you can see that it was released with the kilowatt case initially, and also it was present into the calorie case, and with the latest case and potentially the final CS2 case, the fever case, we got the chroma finishes for the knives that were the shattered wet knives. So this is okay. I mean, we didn't have Dopplers previously for nomads, for paracords, for skeletons, which now we can get sapphires, rubies, etc. So, but we can't get emeralds because we don't have the gamma finishes for them. But we'll go over this in a little bit. So this is kind of like why I believe the next item will be a terminal, purely because of the pressure that Valve are receiving from a lot of governments that are starting to incentivize more clarity on gambling, so that people don't go down this path from early age. And most probably, this is why we'll receive another terminal, which means that most probably, because the previous terminal had gold in it, it will also have gold in it. Why do you think this would be the case? Well, if we go back into the releases, you can see that Genesis terminal was the kind of experiment, like the child of this idea, to test it if it works, if people are willing to pay directly to Valve for skins instead of opening with keys and letting the chance decide for them. So you can see here that a lot of the skins, I mean, they're decent, they're okay, but they're nothing kind of like particularly special, at least to me. So the first thing that comes to my mind is that you can see the stat track counterparts of the skins are twice as expensive as the normal finishes. Usually this happens only in cases where you don't want the knife. For example, the knife is not something that you would want to get, even if it is after the update. So prior to the update, for the knife trade-up update, which was released last year, this is how most of the skins, red skins, used to work. Stat tracks were twice on average expensive than their normal counterparts. So this makes sense here. The skins are used as play skins. They don't have potential to be traded up to gold. So this is like the final skins in this collection that you can reach. So this here, this was the experiment by Valve. Genesis means actually beginning. So if you go back to the Dead Hand terminal, this is the second experiment, because this is the first terminal that actually has a gold inside it. And to test this idea with the gold, you can actually see that even the other skins, Valve made an effort for them to be as desirable as possible so that people can redeem them and buy them directly off of Valve. Not only this, but they actually look good. I mean, even for play skins, you can make the argument for any of these skins, even the P90, the P250, which are not very popular guns compared to the AK, the Glock, the AWP. Also, I mean, even the M4 A1S, a green skin for the M4 A1S is very rare. I believe we just have only one other green skin for this gun. All other skins are either blue or purple or red. So yeah, I mean, every skin here is very desirable. Even the blues look, the CSP works really good in game. So this experiment here, I believe, passed with flying colors because a lot of people were hyped for these gloves. They started selling their older Generation 1, Generation 2, and Generation 3 gloves just to get the Generation 4 gloves or the reds from the Generation 4 collection, the Death Hand, so that they can trade up to the newest gloves. Also, a lot of the new glove finishes, I believe there were 22 in total, they have pattern-based skin, so the incentive to open more of these is even more. Also, this terminal and the whole terminal concept is that instead of opening 400 cases on average, which is the chance to get a knife on statistic, but this is average, you need to open 100 terminals. So why is that? Well, because you get 5 chances on each terminal and decline the offers to see what will come out of it. but there is also 10% chance or something like this to get a sixth final offer. So, I mean, even if you get lucky, it's even better for you here with the terminals, and you can decline all other offers except for reds and golds if that's what you're after. So essentially, you can make the argument here that it's cheaper to open the terminal if you get the terminal at a decent price. I believe the calculation someone in Reddit made it is around $3, where you can break even at current gold prices. But still, this is active drop pool, so make sure to constantly check for yourself. So this is the second, or rather the third thing that piqued my interest here. So if we got a GOF cases, GOF, not case, but terminal, what stops Valve from releasing, let's say, a knife finish terminal? Because I don't believe they're releasing a new case, at least in the next 6 months. Just because if you go into the armory, you can see here that they announced the watch chains to claim this offer for the train collection, the sport collection, the charms are left in the armory, the sugar phase 2 stickers, and the elemental craft sticker. So these 4 should be removed probably next week. We'll see about this. And we don't expect the fever case to be removed, because if it's removed, then why it wasn't announced alongside the others? I mean, it doesn't really make much sense unless Valve want to either distance themselves more from the cases, or if they plan to replace it with another case here that you can get from the armory. But as I said, I don't believe this to be happening, because if Valve want this to happen, then they would have probably announced that they will swap this over with the last chance to claim this offer message. So this is my argument that this probably stays here and we don't see another case replacing the fever case. But if they remove it, this will explode in price, most definitely, because people would not have expected this. But let's, for the sake of argument, assume the fever case remains here. The next item should be then a terminal, because we don't get any more cases from 2024 that are not part of the armory. So if we assume this, then the next terminal, and since we already had the experiment with dead hands and it was very good received from most of the communities, a lot of streamers are buying this like crazy, and not only streamers, but you can see that in the price of generation 1, 2, and 3 girls in CS Vault. If you go, let's say spearmints, for example, and search, let's say for a field tested condition, you can see that they're $2,900. They used to sell for $2,300 even like 1 week ago. If you go 1 year ago, you can see that they're sold for like $4,000. This is after the knife trade up release. They crashed to 1,600. They kind of rebound almost to previous highs, and after that they kind of slowly started dwindling away. So yeah, I mean, even after the current market manipulation with China, they're continuing to dropping down in price because people are most likely selling them to buy the new generation gloves. So going back to this graph here, and also let's see here, this is like kind of a Wikipedia page for all the Counter-Strike releases from the golds, from the cases. So we have the original skins. This is all of the original finishes that you have, like Blue Steel, Fade, Scorch, Slaughter, etc. So when you get a new knife, for example, when the Kukri knife dropped, this is the finishes that they dropped with. As of this moment, 30th of April, we don't have the Gamma and the Chroma finishes, which are the Doppler and the Gamma Doppler and the rest of the finishes with this knife. We just have the normal knife, which is, I mean, it's decent. The animations are cool. I like how fluid they are. I mean, they're the most fluid probably. You have the rare animation, you have the one spinning, you have the one that is turning over like this. But the problem with this knife, at least for me, and probably with the rest of the people, is that it blocks your screen. I mean, it kind of is distracting in a way, block your screen like this. We have big knives like Bowie, like Huntsman, like bayonets, but they don't block the screen directly in front of you, which is probably why people don't like this knife. I mean, the shape is fine, I think, but yeah, the reason that it is not loved by the community, at least in my view, is because it blows the screen like this. So if you go back and see the finishes, you see that we have the chroma finishes for all of the knives that are the basic knives, the first knives that were released with CS, so the bayonets, the M9 bayonets, flip knife, cut knife, karambit. We also have them with the Bowie knife, and we also have them with the Huntsman, the butterfly, the Falchion knife, the shallow daggers. So yeah, we have them for these knives. For the other knives, we have the normal finishes. We also have the Prisma finishes. So we have Dopplers like Sapphire, Ruby. We have Black Pearl, but we don't have the Emerald finishes. So for the classic knife, I'm not going to mention it because this is anniversary skin. So most probably we won't get anything else until the next anniversary, maybe for the 30th anniversary. So I don't expect anything huge to be released for this knife. So either we get the chroma finishes for the Shattered Web and the Horizon knife. So Shattered Web here, you can also see that they only have the original and the chroma finishes. They don't have the Prisma Prisma finishes. So they don't have like emerald finishes. And this would really make sense to be put into a new terminal because the skeleton knife essentially it's full knife. I mean, when it is in Ruby and Sapphire, it's really reflected into the price. If you go into CS Vault, you just type like skeleton Ruby. You'll see that even the skeleton knife is currently at $3,000, which is kind of insane to me because the Ruby knives usually I believe to be a high tier knife, but not as high tier as it is priced. Especially not for the animations that it has. I mean, it just has a spinning animation and one expect animation and one rare pull out that is probably like 1 in 10. But I mean, it's this knife. It's just, I don't think it's worth $3,000. So if they released emerald finishes for this knife and the gamma doppler finishes, I believe it will be very popular and probably it would be a very good idea from Valve's counterpart to put into the next terminal. So basically, here are the potentials that I see with the next terminal. If they decide to put a gold, which I believe is highly likely based on current and previous signs that Valve have performed. So either option 1, Horizon knife gamma finishes, as we said, Horizon 1 knives are these knives here. So either we get like a Talon knife gamma doppler finishes with emerald as well. This will be very popular for the stiletto and jaws as well. Or second option, either we get the Shatterweb knife gamma finishes. So Shatterweb, as we went over these knives here, the skeleton, the nomad knife, the survival, and the paracord. Or the third option, I believe, is to have the chroma finishes for the cookery knife, which I don't believe to be particularly popular knife to receive the chroma finishes. And I don't think that Valve will do this because at the end of the day, you're a company that operates based on the most profits. So I don't believe they will get the most profits if they release chroma finishes for a cookery knife. Or they can combine the cookery knife finishes with some of the other, like either a Shattered Web or either Horizon knives, because previously, if you see here for the Bowie knife, for instance, Bowie knife was released initially like separate thing, but you can go here to the bottom for the Riptide finishes. You can see that Riptide Bowie knife has actually the Doppler finishes as well. It's part of this collection. So maybe they can do something like this. I highly doubt it, but this would be probably the best choice if they want to have more finishes for the cookery. Why I don't think that Valve will release a new gen gloves or the same gen gloves. I just don't find it likely because at the end of the day, yeah, they have done it in the past with some of the cases. If you go back here to the Revolution case, for example, and many other cases, these gloves, you can find them not only in Revolution, you can find them in Coach case as well. So it's not something that hasn't been done in the past, but Revolution case has been released 2023, Coach case has been released 2018. So there's like 5 years in between for these cases to have like duplicated codes. So that's one of the factors. The other factor, I believe, is because they wouldn't generate the same amount of money if they release the same gloves that they released previously. So the next thing that probably you're asking, why not entirely new agent skins? Well, I don't see how agent skins will be released as gold, because most probably they will be part of the armory, just like they were before with the operations, just not like literally like this. Most probably we'll have like a collection of agents somewhere here, like we have the charms, if Valve ever decides to do new agents at all. And this will be like with different rarities and such. You'll just use the stars and on a random basis see what agent you get. This is how I see future agents if they ever add them. The next thing, why not classic knife finishes? We've gone over this. I believe they will release classic knife finishes, just not now. They will probably be done when the next anniversary is, so probably like CS 30 years or something like this. They will release probably another classic knife finishes, maybe another of the classic knives inside it with the classic finishes from like the original finishes for it. Maybe some of the other knives, I'm not sure, but this is how I see things. And the other one, why not a new knife model with original finishes only? So I don't see this happening purely because the last knife update, like finishes slash model gold, not gloves, was about the kukri, and this was fairly recently. So we got the kukri present into the fever case. Sorry, not fever, the Gawari case, which is 2024. And I don't see new model being released in 26 because you have to develop a lot of animations for this model. You have to develop an entirely new model to test the animations to make sure that everything works correctly, and also you have to release them only with the original knife finishes, which, to be completely honest, they're not popular or as popular as, for instance, the Dopplers. People most like the blue finishes, and you don't have a lot of blue finishes here. You just have probably the case hardened is the most blue that you can get, and I believe bright water. I'm not sure why bright water is not here. Maybe we don't have bright water for the kukri, but yeah, I don't see any blue knives here. And in the past, when we didn't have Dopplers, when we weren't so blessed, people liked the Crimson Web, the case hardened, and the Fade the most, because the Crimson Web was very hard to get, and it still is in factory new condition. So I remember this was the most expensive knife, not the kukri, but the Crimson Web factory new knife finish in general. The slaughter was very popular as well. There are some pattern-based slaughters that for the original knife were very popular. For instance, for the bayonet, for the M9, for the karambit. So, and of course the case hardened blue gems, but that's not subject to discussion because it's already known. So yeah, basically that's how I see the future for the next gold, for the next terminal. I'm not sure if they will release it this year. If they do, most probably it will be at the end of this year, because currently I think Valve are focused on other things. We have heard rumors and leaks from Gabe Newell about potential pets. We don't still know how this will work, if they will be part of the gold in future terminal, or maybe part of the armory somewhere here. So this is still pending confirmation, which is why I'm not mentioning it anywhere. But if we do receive pets or something else that is like a cosmetic, like shoes or I don't know, most probably it won't be part of the terminals, because it won't make much sense to trade up gun skins to get like a chicken or egg or whatever that they are trying to implement at the moment, or shoe skins or whatever. So yeah, most probably this will be outside like the agents into the armory or some other form, or maybe even operation if they ever decide to do another operation. But yeah, that's how I see the future for the next gold. So yeah, drop a comment if you agree with me. If you disagree with me, I'd like to hear your opinion. Like the video if you liked, and yeah, thanks for watching.